Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Small Obtainable Goals. I'm Sean. This is my sister, Kirsten. And today we are talking about annoying things that normal people say to people with mental health issues. Um, these are all firsthand accounts. And if you are a normal person with no mental health issues, just don't say it because you sound like an asshole. That'd be great. Other than that, we I'm gonna talk for everyone. Get that you're trying to be supportive, but it doesn't help when you say the following things. Before we get started with that, I think we should address why my sister's wearing big glasses. It's because she doesn't know how to properly wash her face.
No, I
And
got like medicated eye wash in my eye and it's like really swollen. I don't even know what happened. But I couldn't do my makeup, so
so she put on glasses
yeah,
and
just
she
trying
was
to,
gonna originally wear her hair over her eye like an emo kid.
like Y2K or something.
Yeah, you did used to wear your hair like that.
I know. And you go like this.
And then you would like tear holes in your sleeves and you'd be like,
No, I still do that. I've had the same haircut since like 2008.
well, I've had the same haircut since 1997. So I went from bowl to buzz and I never looked
You
back.
never look back.
Never. Okay, so today we're just trying to have some fun and talk about, annoying things that people
We've
say
all
to
had
you.
time. Hmm.
You know, um, Usually the people mean well. It's usually the people that you love, but what they tell you is annoying. Uh, for example, we'll just get into the prime one that's super annoying. When you're depressed and someone just says, "You should just smile more." I don't want to smile more. I can't. I'm trying to hold in all of the pain of my life and I'm trying not to scream constantly that I hate everything. So my face is just naturally like stoic and, absolutely no emotion at all because the only emotion I really feel at the moment is rage and or sadness.
I always liked when people would be like, my husband's family would be like, "Oh, you don't need medication. Have you tried taking a B vitamin?"
Yeah,
Y-
which is kind of medication too. And then
Like, it's natural. Like, who cares? Like, okay, don't give me a multivitamin. Like all the things that are like marketed for like this will help calm your nerves. This will help you sleep. Like that's just like a glorified multivitamin. It would be
yeah,
the same thing if I took a Flintstones gummy vitamin.
yeah, except it wouldn't taste as good.
Yeah.
Do you
Like
remember when we were little and I took one of those Flintstones? It was one of the
or the
Flintstones.
chocolate calcium ones.
Yeah, and I just got violently ill. Like I
Yeah.
was like, I must have been allergic to it because literally, like I went to school, I took it in the morning because that's when mom said to take it, and then I went to school and I was just literally 20 minutes into getting off the bus and my face turned bright red and the doctor was my not the doctor, my teacher was like, "Are you okay? You seem really flush." And I was like, "Yeah, it's just really hot in here." But it was also the winter and like it wasn't that hot in there and like there were like kids in my class with like their jackets on because our school was poor and we didn't have heat on full blast at like 80 degrees. And kids these days, well, kids back then, they weren't built for tough. They weren't built for winter. They were like, "Oh no, it's only 75 in here."
Remember we
Yeah.
used to get dismissed early because of the heat?
One time we were.
The school would get so hot that they would just like dismiss you.
Yeah, that was because we literally I think that was because like kids would like pass out and like
I think the heat, like at least you could wear like a hat or something, like a
yeah,
scarf or something. But like in the heat, there's just kids are collapsing, and at that point they're like, "All right, we might have a lawsuit."
yeah. And they're just like, oh no, it's just a little bit cold. But I guess if it's too hot, they're like, nah, it's too hot. And then plus, I mean, it can't be great for the teachers either. You know,
Hmm.
like if I was a teacher, I'd be trying to get school canceled all the time.
Yeah, you can never be a teacher. You hate school too much.
Yeah, that's very true.
You also have no patience.
That's also true. I have patience for some things. I have no patience for like just stupidity though.
Hmm.
Mainly for mom when I try to explain some sort of electronic thing to her, I can't do it. That's all on you.
All her messages weren't sending yesterday. I was like, Mom, your messages aren't sending. She was like, no, they're sending. I called you. And I was like, what?
I hate it when I tell her, I'm like, you have to delete stuff. You have too much crap on your phone. Do you need to use this? And she's like, I use that once a year. And I'm like, okay, so you can delete it. And she's like, no, if I delete it, I could lose my 5% coupon that I use once a year. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care then. And then she's like, what do you mean you don't care? Help me. Help me. And I'm like, I tried to help you. You don't want me to. And she's like, help me a different way. I was like, I can't. And then she calls you and she's like, your brother he yelled at me for no reason. I just wanted him to fix my phone, and I told him to do whatever it takes, and he told me to go screw myself. And you're just like, Mom, I don't think that's entirely true. She's like, no, it is.
Yeah, she'll be like, your brother told me I was a dumb idiot. And I'll be like, well, what happened? And she's like, I don't know. He just walked in and called me a dumb idiot. And I'm like, Mom, something else must have led to that. And she's like, no, I don't know. So, evidently I'm a dumb idiot.
Evidently, I'm a dumb idiot. And then what really happened was she was like, you're stupid. And I was like, you're stupid. And she's like, I'm telling. I'm like, what? Ma'am, you're 60 years old.
Who are you going to tell?
I'm telling my 30-year-old daughter. She's going to be 30 next year.
I know.
But right now, you're 29?
29?
But yeah, after I had the calcium thing, the vitamin, went to school, had like 105, no, not 105, like 101 or 100.5 fever. And I threw up like 3 times. And then I felt perfectly fine. But they were like, I think we're going to have to send you home. And then I was like, yeah. You're
like, that would be best for all of us.
Yeah. I mean, all the signs of having severe anxiety were there for the first, 20 something years of my life, but nobody knew what that was. So they were like, oh no, he just hates school. That's why he's throwing up every morning. He's not nervous. He's just weird. It's like, okay. Another one that never helps anybody is just snap out of it.
Think positively. You know what I hate? When people are like, put on your big girl panties. And I'm like,
I don't like the word panties. I don't think that men should ever say it, ever.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
I just think it's fucking rude. Like if someone's like, oh yeah, like I'm very upset, and you're like, put on your big girl panties. Like, no, what the fuck does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. I try never to tell people that. I also try to tell people never to man up or, what's the other one?
Sack up.
No, I don't like the word sack at all. So I don't use it. Be an adult, grow up. I don't like any of those. Growing up is stupid.
I always say that to Mom.
Well, sometimes you have to say it to Mom. Like I've had to tell Mom.
To annoy her. Like she'll be like, "Are you gonna come over for lunch?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Mom. Like I'm really busy at work." And she'll be like, she'll send me like a GIF of somebody like that, and then I'll be like, "Grow up," or I'll be like, "Why are you so obsessed with me?"
Sometimes she like does like, when we were like the day that Dad died and I had to drive her home. from the hospital that was like 2 hours away. She's going like this the whole time. She's like, like dry heaving randomly. And I'm like, Mom, you need to stop. Okay. I know that you're upset. I am upset too. Okay. I understand. You need to stop. And then she's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything.
Oh God.
And then I was like, Mom, you need to stop. She's like, I'm not doing it. And I was like, ah! Oh my God. I don't like it when people dry heave in front of me.
Yeah. I know every kid who ever threw up at school. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's been almost 30 years and I still remember Adrian throwing up in kindergarten.
No one ever forgets Adrian.
No one ever forgets that. What is that from? That's from
probably New Girl.
Jonah Hill? No, it's the Jonah Hill. Super bad.
Oh yeah. Why don't you go piss your pants again? That was like 20 years ago. Nobody ever forgets.
That was like first grade. He's like, no one forgot. Smile more. You should smile more. I feel like we're playing a game show. Like something that's annoying to hear when you have mental health issues.
Answers on the board.
Number one answer, smile more. Oh my God.
Have you tried changing your diet?
That one, I have that too. Change your diet.
Have you tried maybe changing your diet? Try exercising more.
Oh, okay? God.
You know what, Karen? I could exercise more if I wasn't thinking about unaliving myself every day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that would be great. I could also, I could exercise more. I could go to the gym more if I wasn't terrified of all the people at the gym. If I could go out into a crowd, I would do that. And guess what? I probably wouldn't be super depressed either because I would be out into a crowd and I would be happy because I can't go into crowds because I get panic attacks. I'm just like, oh. Also, I'm a germaphobe and I don't want to touch anything that some sweaty, gross person touched. And guess who's at gyms? Sweaty, gross people.
Oh, one time I was at the gym and this guy, like he was running on the treadmill and he had his phone, like, I guess in his hand, like, or maybe it was like balancing on something, but he was running and just the momentum, it was like, and the treadmill, like the momentum was like, and like threw it like behind him. So I was walking behind him and it was like it like hit the wall and I was like, oh my God. And then he was like, could you get that? Because he didn't want to get off the treadmill, I guess. And I was like, sure. So I picked it up and I like went to hand it to him and his hand was so sweaty and he was like, thanks, and like touched my hand and I was like, Impetigo immediately. And then I was like putting hand sanitizer on and then we got in the car and I was like, can you get ringworm from someone's sweat? Can you get necrotizing fasciitis? Like, I was like Googling everything.
I think it's hard to get necrotizing fasciitis. That's the skin-eating bacteria. I'm pretty sure that's hard to get.
It is. I think it's like you need like gangrene first or something. I don't know.
Ringworm is pretty easy to get. You just need to work at a pool over one summer and just be wet all of the time.
That too, I think is. Remember there was like a MRSA outbreak in the locker room at school? Like,
yeah.
Football, and mom would like made you strip down on the porch and then she would like bleach all your clothes.
Yeah, they wanted us to shower there and I was like, I'm not showering here. They're like, you need to shower in front of us. I was like, I'm not doing that and you can call the police because if you don't,
911 because that's suspicious.
Those like all like the wrestling coaches were like that. Like they were always like they were completely fine with nudity. Never understood it. Like grown ass men walking around in a butt naked in a men's locker room.
Yeah, you know, I remember it. I would like walk into the locker room and there would be like freaking grannies in there, like in their 70s, 80s, whatever, 60s, and their freaking knockers would be out. And I'm like,
yeah,
your knockers away. Why are they out? Or like a full bush would be out, and I'm like,
yeah, there were just men walking around in like family locker rooms, just butt naked. And they
Yeah,
had
like
like these like very comfortable looking nice leather couches in like a little like in like a waiting room like before you went into the locker room, and it had like a TV, and there would always like be like sports or something on it. And I remember thinking, oh wow, that'd be a really cool place to hang out. And then no, because you walk in there and there's some 80-year-old man with just his balls on one side of the couch, and then he's sitting across on the other, and his balls are just like 4 feet long. And you're like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? It's like, I had to air him out. You're like, oh my God. Like, whatever.
I can't say that.
Let's see what our next answer is. Oh, you're upset? Everybody feels that way. Let's
Thank you, Karen. You probably also need therapy.
yes. That's actually how I started getting before. That was how I got super depressed, because I thought that everyone was like that, and I just assumed that everyone hated their lives. I would get up, go to work, and then I'd be like, "Oh, okay, so like everyone hates their life. Got it." And then I remember just one day I was sitting with dad, and dad was like, "Yeah, blah 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 blah," and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I hate my life, but I mean, everyone does, right?" And he was like, "No," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, no, not everyone feels that way." And I was like, "So you don't wake up every morning and just go, God, I wish I was dead?" And he was like, No." And I was like, huh,
You're like, that sounds fake.
are you lying to me?
I think Dad
Yeah.
was like white knuckling it through life, just tamping it down.
Yeah, probably. He could have really benefited from therapy.
Oh yeah,
Could have.
I think he just was just white knuckling it through the
I
day.
think almost everyone could benefit from therapy.
Probably,
There's like
oh, absolutely. But I
there are
think
like
that's one
three
that
people that I know that don't need therapy. They're just super well adjusted.
I don't know anyone who couldn't benefit from therapy, except Shmuley, of course. My
Yes.
golden retriever. He's perfect in every way.
It'll get better. It'll get better.
Actually, when I was in undergrad, and like I had to take interviewing and counseling classes, and the professor, she was like a family counselor, and she did like she was older, and she was like had been doing talk therapy for like decades at this point, and she was like, you never ever say to a patient or a client or whatever, things will get better, because you don't know that. Like if they're going home and they're going to get beat, or they're going to be, there's like a domestic violence issue, or they have like horrific depression, you cannot say that to them because you don't actually know that. So that was like, she was very specific to say, do not say things will get better, or you're going to be okay, or just anything along those lines.
Yeah. That was how I determined my psychiatrist that I have now, because all the other like therapists that I went to, they're like, it'll get better. It gets better. Don't worry. And literally like all of them were like that. And I was just like, no, I don't. I can't imagine that happening. I'm sorry. And they're like, no,
I'm gonna unalive.
everyone thinks that it'll get better. Don't worry. And I'm like, you suck at your job. And then when I met my psychiatrist that I have now, she just looked at me and she said, it can get better. It's just going to take a lot of work. And I was like, okay, so you're saying it will get better? And she's like, no, I'm saying it can. If you put the work in and you try really hard, it's going to suck, but it can get better.
That's what my therapist said. She was like, you're gonna feel horrible, because she was like switching my medication, and she was like, as you're coming down off of this and I'm weaning you onto the other medication, you're gonna feel really terrible. She would see me like 3 times a week, because she was like worried, and monitoring me, obviously.
She also wants that money.
No, she is one doctor that was like, if it gets to a point where this becomes too expensive, I can't just drop you, I would work with you to find someone who takes insurance or who's less expensive. And, you can tell she actually like genuinely cares.
Yeah, it's always nice to find a doctor who actually cares, whereas the other ones are like, no, you didn't pay your bills, so yeah, whatever. during the pandemic, I went into excessive debt with my psychiatrist, but she kept seeing me.
Yeah.
That was very nice of her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry so much.
Oh, that's like when I'm like, I have anxiety, and Zach's like, don't be anxious, and I'm like,
Oh my God, you nailed it.
fine.
You nailed it.
Like,
I got it.
I am.
Oh my God, I could have been just doing that the whole time.
He doesn't say that anymore, though.
Well, that's good. At least he learned.
Yeah, he was more like a tamp it down. Just tamp it down. Just ignore it. It'll go away.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, sometimes you do have to just tamp it down with certain things.
Yeah, like today, I only had one mask in my car, like a surgical mask, and I had to run into ShopRite to get yogurt, and I was like, it's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, I was like that yesterday because I forgot my mask. Yeah. I love wearing masks.
Me too.
It's not even a political statement. I just love it because no one tells me to smile anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And no one asks me about my resting bitch face. This is just my face. This is how I look 99% of the time. And people used to stop and tell me to smile. And I'm sure that is so much more difficult for pretty women who have to go through that, or just women in general, who say, oh, you need to smile more. But as someone who's suffered from resting bitch face his whole life, it's a struggle for me too. I hate being told to smile. So I could only imagine how bad it would be for someone who also has to get sexually harassed after that. Like if someone said, hey, sugar tits, smile more, I'd be like, I'm self-conscious about my body, sir. Leave me alone. This is a Wendy's parking lot. Leave me alone.
One time a guy was like, you're a little bitch. And I was like, first of all, thank you for calling me little because I am self-conscious. And second of all, I am a bitch. So
double thank you.
Thank you.
Just relax. Calm down.
Do some self-care.
Calm down. That's my favorite. I don't say that to people when they're actually upset, but when they're like pissed off, I love saying that to people. I'm not going to lie, because it just gets them more pissed off. I love it. I love it. It cranks it up. If they're at like a 10, it cranks it up to 11. And I love it. I love the drama of it. I love it. I love the show, the spectacle. It's fantastic. Especially with mom. If mom's pissed off and she's like, no, I'm like, hey, calm down. She's like, you don't tell me to calm down. Like,
Mom
hey,
will see red if she.
I know. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It shouldn't be, but it is. And I love it. Do you have any more? Anything else that anyone says to you that's annoying?
Anything like holistic.
Like, I hate being told holistic things.
Oh, try this. Even like, and it goes for my lupus too. Like people are like, oh, have you tried this? And I'm like, I did not ask for your.
I hate it when people have like miracle cures for crap. It's like, well, you know what I did? I started going out into the sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take off my pants and then look up to the stars, and then I would bend over and shove my butthole to the sun, and that gave me enough vitamin B to, get through the day. It helped me, really helped me. I'm like, I'm not going to go outside and bleach my butthole, okay? I'm not doing that. All right, if that's what's making me so depressed.
Totally.
I mean, look, if it makes you happy, sure, but don't try to snake oil sales me. It's the same thing. Like,
you know what it is? It's like people who do like MLMs and stuff.
What are MLMs?
It's basically a pyramid scheme, but I believe they're called like multi-level marketing.
Oh yeah, pyramid scheme.
Like Mary Kay and people who like doTERRA essential oils, and there's like tons. But people who sell like, oh, I have this like really good essential oil for therapy. And like, I love essential oils because they're like, I don't want anything to poison my dog. So like I buy a very specific kind that's made they have like a veterinarian on staff. Um, but in any event, I don't like when people are like, oh yeah, like, buy this essential oil, like it's really good for anxiety. Like, yes, there is like a component to aromatherapy and like, your olfactory system and everything. But
Yeah, if you felt safe at your grandmother's house when you were a
yeah, and
kid
always
and
smell
your
like
grandmother
cinnamon.
smelled like peppermint,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
sure.
Like, of course, there's a psychological component to it, but like, don't tell me if I'm having a panic attack to like rub like a certain type of scent on my, like, it's not going to work. Like, okay, that's fantastic that you can use, spearmint to settle yourself down. But I'm going to probably need like an Ativan or something. Like, it's just not going
Yeah.
to work for
Or
me.
like when people say like pressure points that help them, they're like, it's this pressure point. Like acupuncture is helpful to a lot of
Yeah.
people, I'm sure.
Hmm.
And there's like one pressure point in your hand that you're supposed to use whenever you get like, I can't remember if it's like stress or like depression. And I don't remember what it does, but I started doing it as like an OCD thing. And I mean, it doesn't help a lot, but it kind of gets your brain off the fact that you're having an anxiety attack for a second because you're just like, I have to push on my hand. And then you're like, why the hell am I doing this?
Well, I think that's kind of what it is. It's just you're just using something else as like a coping skill.
Yeah. And
It's
coping
like
skills are great as long as they don't,
it's
destroy
like
your life.
uh what is it? Not DBT. Oh, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Like when you're having like a bad like intrusive thought and you picture a stop sign, you're just rewiring your brain to think in a different way. So like if I'm upset about something or anxious and I like smell an essential oil in my hands, I'm just rewiring my brain to think about something else. So like whether it be I have an intrusive thought and then I smell like an orange or something, like it's just taking away from what I'm currently doing as
Yeah.
opposed to, going down that rabbit hole of, oh my God, I'm so upset. And then I'm thinking of this. And then what if this happens? It's just a different, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. It can also backfire and go the opposite way too, because um, when I had anxiety as a kid, I would drink a lot of Pepto Bismol because I would be throwing up all the time. And now, whenever I smell Pepto Bismol, I immediately start shaking and have a panic attack a little bit because my brain like triggers and like, oh my God, it's happening.
Isn't it like mint?
I don't, I
You would
can't,
think it would be like bubble gum because it's pink, but I don't think it is, right? Isn't it like
I don't know. Honestly, I can't
oh,
describe it. I can describe, I know exactly how it tastes and smells in
oh
my
my
head, but I can't describe it because
I thought you meant
my
coming back up. I know exactly how it tastes.
but my brain is just like, no, we're not accessing that information right now. Sorry. It's kind of like chalk, but also like I don't know. It's I can describe the texture perfectly. It's goo. It's literally just goo. It's supposed to like go down. It's like drinking paint. It's just like a thick, viscous.
Yeah, like I don't know, the texture and the look of it, I feel like would be in like a Cat in the Hat kind of Dr. Seuss sort of film.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the stuff that chicken nuggets used to be made of. Just pink goo.
Hmm.
And then I don't think that they're still made like that, but they used to be. They used to be. It used to look like they would take Pepto Bismol and then deep fry it. Kids, look that up on the internet if you want to. It is not pleasant or good, and it will maybe make you a vegetarian. Or you'll be like me and be like, oh, that's gross. I don't want to know anything else about what's in my food. I'm still going to eat it though, because chicken nuggets are delicious.
Chicken nuggets are delicious.
They are. Chicken is delicious. I get why people are like vegetarians. I get that. You don't want to eat something that used to be alive. I get that. I get people who only eat fish because I mean, have you ever seen a fish? They're not cool. I don't understand veganism. I mean, I get it from like a concept, but I feel like cows don't really care that they're getting milked. But I mean, I guess it's like the large,
I think it's the yeah,
like the industrial complex. I get that, but like there has to be some sort of vegan option of like cows that are just super happy and like literally all that they do is get milked and like the rest of their life is just super pleasant. And if there isn't, that's a business idea right there. Happy cow milk.
I know like some people have chickens and they like eat like the eggs.
Yeah, like eggs. The eggs I don't because like eggs they just lay eggs. Like their whole like reproductive thing is very strange. Like even if there's no roosters, the chickens will still lay eggs. So
Yeah, it's like a
what was that?
Zach, Zach just started his car, I think.
So obnoxious.
Yeah. So anyway, this episode's brought to you guys by Butcher Box. No, I'm just kidding.
This episode is brought to you by men almost in their 40s. They'll buy fast cars to relive their glory days. Midlife crisis. And then a nice little rainbow comes up.
If we could get a guy from Reading Rainbow to come on here,
LeVar Burton.
yeah,
He's awesome.
what an icon.
He really is. He's fantastic. And then his one role on Community with Donald Glover, he was amazing because it was just amazing. He told the really rich guy Pierce that he wanted to meet. He wanted a signed autograph of LeVar Burton, and instead he hired LeVar Burton to come and meet him. And then Donald Glover was just petrified the whole time. And then they like cut to like a scene of him freaking out. And he's like, I told him I just wanted a picture. You can't disappoint a picture. And then he's like singing in the corner. He's like, butterfly in the sky. I can fly twice as high.
Oh man.
And then he's like, set phasers to love me. And he breaks down and cries. And then LeVar Burton was like, this is a really weird thing. This guy paid me a lot of money, though, to come here, so I don't really know what's going on.
I think he's starting like a new show.
I hope so. I was really hoping that he was going to be a Jeopardy host, but then he wasn't.
Maya Bialik was supposed to be, wasn't she?
I don't think she is anymore. Or she does the celebrity one. I don't know. I don't like it anymore. I miss Alex. I don't like change. Hence the OCD. Thank you for watching Small Obtainable Goals. Hopefully this helped you in some way or another, or it can, help somebody that you know. If you're having trouble, call 988. That's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and they'll, hook you up with somebody who can help you in your local area. It's all free, so, take advantage of it. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, or don't, whatever makes you happy. I'm Sean. This is my sister, Kirsten.
I'm Kirsten.
Yeah. You've ruined it. All right. Thanks, everybody.
And cut.